Hey there, it's meteorologist JB Singleton. Wanted to update you on the forecast here as we go through the rest of this week into the weekend and beyond into next week. Major cool down on the way later next week, and as we get into October, that's going to be pretty exciting to track. But in the meantime, the main near-term story is going to be a change in the pattern here. We're going to go from this really dry, comfortable air back into more of a soupy air mass with tropical depression beta. So we're in the Greek alphabet now. Wasn't a big storm, still isn't, but we have some rain as you get with any tropical system here across Arkansas and the Kentucky and Tennessee. This is being sheared apart a little bit by some upper level wind as well. But what's left of it's going to move a little bit closer to us by Friday into Saturday. You can already see some of the increase in cloud cover kind of indirectly associated with it. So today won't be quite as chilly as it has been because of that extra little blanket we're going to get from the clouds, but still relatively cool outside. You've got Hurricane Teddy out here. It's Category 1 storm moving toward Nova Scotia. You've got an upper low in the central Atlantic, but I don't see any big waves to worry about. And we've also got Paulette out here, which is hanging on, and that was resurrected as it kind of weakened, didn't have a name anymore. It was a post-tropical cyclone, and the circulation, they can actually track it, and it was the same one with Paulette. So that's actually still what's left of Paulette there, way off to the east. But anyway, our weather will be influenced by beta here as we go into the weekend. So let me show you what's happening on the radar picture. This is off of WSV3, and I'll put almost a 9-hour loop on here so you can see the circulation around beta. Not a big system as far as any major impacts, but with any tropical entity, you do have to worry about maybe some locally heavy rainfall and some flash flooding. Looks like it's a rainy night in Arkansas and Louisiana, and you can really pick out that circulation there across the Houston area of Texas. Look at all that Gulf of Mexico moisture moving in. Now you can see here, I'm going to put the dew points on and we'll add them here on our METARs. You can see still some comfortable air. As it loads, it goes a little bit crazy on me there, but 40s for dew points still across our area, so that is some real nice fall-like air. And again, later in our forecast, we're going to reintroduce that, but we have to get through a few days of this soupy air down here with dew points in the 60s. So a 20-degree increase in dew points will be noted here in our forecast as we go in through the next couple of days, especially as we go closer into Friday, I think. So let me show you the rainfall forecast off the Euro. And we're going to put this emotionally and move that up for you. Stays mainly dry. A lot of the models are holding the rain off to the west of us. This is Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening, we start to get more in the way of some rainfall. So maybe a Thursday night, Friday event. I was looking at the UK Met earlier, and it was more of a Friday night, Saturday event. So models are still a little bit up in the air, you know, as to how far along this can hold itself together, basically. And, you know, how long it takes it to get up here is still a issue in the forecast. But it's fair to say, I think by Thursday and Friday, our rain chances improve quite a bit. And we may see some fairly significant moisture from this system with beta, or what's left of it, as we move into the beginning of the weekend, Friday especially. Then after that, we start to dry back out again. We're going to warm up probably for the weekend, and then there's a big low pressure system. It's going to develop across the Great Lakes going into September the 30th and going into October the 1st and 2nd here. So we're looking at quite a bit of rainfall from beta across the southeast, and then quite a bit of a cool down once again for most of the eastern half of the United States. The Weather Prediction Center has a fairly good swath of rain here, several inches indicated here from Louisiana up through the upstate of South Carolina and western North Carolina, and they even put a 1.75 inch total here across most of south side and the foothills here as we go again into the weekend. that is kind of up in the air right now, but just keeping an eye on that. Just wanted to show you that for right now. This is the UK Met I was talking about earlier. Holds south side and the best chance of seeing some significant rainfall, and parts of the Carolinas could get over 3 inches of rain. So this could be still a significant rainfall event that I don't want you to kind of forget about, even though it's a weak, very weak system. For us, that really doesn't mean anything. It's still tropical moisture and there's still a circulation, so we'll have to watch that. But let me show you this, because this is what I'm excited about. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I think the winter is going to be pretty active for us this year. I didn't really have any strong indication of anything last year or the year before last, so I didn't really put much of a forecast out there. But when I start to see stuff that has happened in the past, and I relate it to those winters, even though we're in a La Nina right now, I think that we're still going to see a fair amount of action this winter. And we're already seeing that this fall. You know, unlike the previous falls for the past 4 or 5 years, it's been so warm and dry up until, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you have to wait half the winter before you get the cool air. It's coming early this year, and that may be what happens this winter. But in the near term, this is the Euro ensemble. You see the troughiness here in the blue, that's with beta, but again, it's a hybrid. It becomes extra tropical. You've got a short wave there and in the mid levels of the atmosphere. So that starts to move in Thursday and the Friday. It's a progressive flow, so all these ridges and troughs start to, you know, they move east. So we're going to tap some of this warmer air off to the west, and we may tap more smoke as we go into the weekend as well, because if you follow the lines here, that comes in right out of the west. But we start to see a lot of energy here in the Gulf of Alaska, and that's going to shape things up a bit as we go into the month of October, because that will dig, and it looks like that will start to set up an amplified pattern. So basically, instead of moving east, we start to get some blocking around Greenland. We start to get some ridging here also in the west coast. That's going to be horrible news for the fire efforts out there. But look at this huge trough that develops as a result here. It kind of teleconnects across the Hudson Bay into the Great Lakes. That's an impressive trough. September the 29th, that's next Tuesday. And then as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, this is again October the 1st by this point, it amplifies even more. So this is a way amplified pattern. You know, you've got these huge dips and huge ridges, and again, it's a very relatively unsettled pattern probably, but for us it'll probably just be, you know, relatively chilly, probably some frosty nights coming up to go into October, some frost on the pumpkin there early October. That's the Euro. I wanted to show you other models here. You've got the new parallel GFS, which is also on board, very similar, and this is at 210 hours out. So the models are in very good agreement as far as our long-term forecast, and this is actually called a long wave pattern. You can see there just huge ridging and big troughing there across our area. This is how it looks on the temperature anomaly. So compared to normal, where are our 5,000 feet above sea level temperatures? What are they doing basically compared to normal? So we go 5,000 feet up so we don't get confused by the daytime heating and the nighttime cooling. You just track the air masses just off the surface. And you can see that we get into the reds here. This is basically the warm air coming up and around the pattern as it becomes progressive and more zonal, more west to east. It'll tap some warm air coming up for the weekend. So we're going to get, you know, warm again for the weekend, and again, we could be rather smoky and hazy at times. But here we go, September the 29th for Tuesday. Look at this cooler air across the Great Lakes. And that moves in behind a powerful cold front, and look at that compared to normal. That's incredible. That's about 15 to 20 degrees Celsius below normal, and it hangs around for much of early October. So just think, if we could keep that pattern going a few more months, that would be very interesting. This is the exact opposite as it's been about the past 4 or 5 years. So we may be overdue for an active winter. I don't know if it's an indication or not. I have a feeling. I just have a feeling it's going to be an active winter. And I had that feeling before this even showed up in the fall. So I'll give you a little teaser on the winter, I think, and just to show you that we've got some big changes coming up. First, with some rainfall later in the week, humidity is going to go back up, and then for the weekend it warms up. The temperature is going to crash next Tuesday, Wednesday, as we go into the month of October. It will feel like fall and even a little bit like winter out there as we switch over to the new month.